Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who are teaching the truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim and Yakwath. Brakat the Yahweh, Brakat the Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Brakat them. So, year 2020, another year of prophecy, and we're going to see a lot of them this year, as you know that they've been wagging the dog as of lately, falsifying events, doing false flags, such as the attack, so-called rocket attack against Iraq, which you and I both know that Iran has not fired against Iraq because Iraq is actually one of their allies. So why would they do this? No, of course not. But the U.S., is pretty much doing the bidding of Amalek, which runs the whore. So we're seeing a lot of that taking place, as well as many other things becoming obsolete. We see cash is just about obsolete. Most people are making payments via the phone, and eventually they're just going to do away with cash to where it'll be in your right hand. And don't forget, Elon Musk wants to put a brain chip in everybody and connect them to Neuralink. So you got all that happening. That's definitely prophetic, because last year was the year of Karagba, and this year we're dealing with prophecy altogether, which includes all of these things. We're starting to see the Damascus prophecy coming in, as that the U.S. is just now admitting that they're there to steal the oil. That it's their oil and they're going to keep it. From their proxies that they created. ISIS, which they control and run. Which, of course, they're now sending more ISIS into Libya, which Gomer and all his bands are there. No, Gomer is not separated from Magog. Magog is still Russia. Yeah, I had a comment recently about, Magog being, or Gomer being all these places. No, Gomer is just the Turks, which you better known as the Ottoman Empire. That's Gomer. So just to be on the right track here. But nonetheless, though, all these terrorist proxies were brought to you by Amalek, because you notice, though, as Brother Malcolm puts it, you ever notice, though, that Israeli state Amalek never gets attacked by these terrorist groups. Never. But isn't that the overt enemy, though? Because, see, they're not the real Israelites at all. No. They're the imposters, the bastards dwelling in Ashdod. And that's just it, though. Now they're coming after us, falsifying the news, and everybody knows that the news is fake. Man, you start reading the comments on those things about this fake synagogue shootings, man, or stabbings, they know that that shit's fake, because, of course, man, we're not telling our people to go take up arms and come against them. No. But one of the commandments is to eradicate Amalek, and how are we eradicating Amalek? By actually picking up arms and going after them? No, of course not. But by telling this truth, telling the world that they're the fake. But we're not the first ones to tell everybody that they're the fake. That term Zionist has been around a lot longer than we've been on the streets? Of course, because everyone's telling you that they're not the real ones. They call them Zionist Jews. They call them Zionists. So they're telling you that they're not the real ones too. Even the, radical Edomite supremacist groups do not accept those Amalekites, aka kikes, so it's everywhere, pretty much, though they've been, and only the so-called Christian community actually believes that they're the Jews. That's just because, you start drinking enough of the Kool-Aid, eventually, you become like it, you speak enough lies, you believe all lies are true, because, of course, people live in a fictional reality. This Jesus character that loves everybody is a fictional reality, when in fact the God of the Bible despises a lot of things. And if you ain't right with him, he despises you. And that goes for even Yasha, that it got to a point where he turned us away, and that right now he's only talking to the elect of us, I sure hope I don't get turned away, That's why I got to keep on testing, make sure that my faith is strong, that I'm coming out here and teaching that, I'm not lukewarm, because I can be spewed out like anybody else. Just had a huge trial, man. I lost the place that I was staying at, So it's like, well, was that a spewing, or Or is that just chastisement? I'm viewing it as chastisement because that didn't stop me from coming out and teaching, you know. I could have made excuses, but why would I want to make excuses? Especially if I just felt what seemed like a judgment, you know. If I'm feeling trials, man, it makes me want to speak out more. Because it was an Edomite that gave me the 60-day notice, you know. And they've already rented that place out. Of course Esau gets away with it. Duh, he's the devil, you know. He could tell you a lie and pretend to tell you the truth, you know. But what is the truth? Well, that's been hidden from us for so long. You know, and that's just it. When the truth has been hidden for so long, you believe the lies, you know, because everybody's speaking the lies. And that's what them churches are. Those whorehouses that they call church, you know, that's been speaking the lies for so long, everybody actually believes that the Messiah looks like a so-called white man. You know, they just celebrate that bullshit Christmas, you know, and they have all these other characters looking white, you know, and then if you rent any movies, you know, Esau's playing all the characters, you know, because of course they don't want to portray the real men as being Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then they want to say that, oh, well, they couldn't be, you know, because look at all this, you know. But it's true, though. You know, there's been a controversy. And that's just it, though, is we're coming out here and we're proclaiming this truth. It's causing controversy, and that's why they're trying to get us off the streets. You know, that's why, you know, my channel was down for a whole week. You know, I couldn't upload new videos to the channel just because of the fact that this was causing controversy, you know. Because the time of Esau's reign is just about up, you know. You can see the economy crashing everywhere, you know. Look at how many people are employed now. And last year, around this time, you know, it started out with the government being shut down, you know, right over that wicked celebration of Christmas, you know. And then there was this other one, you know. But, you know, pretty much, though, you know, Trump being impeached, but you can see, though, he's still running shit. Well, he's not really the man in charge. We know that it's Rothschild Rockefeller, you know, and that all it is just pretty much who his temporary is to come in. Forget about the man behind the curtain. Just look to the one that, you know, wears the suit, you know, and that's just it. They just suit up, you know, and they're the ones that look like they're the rulers, you know, so everybody says Trump, you know. Even Bashar al-Assad will tell you that doesn't make any difference who the president is. It's a waste of time because in 8 years they're out anyways, and you're not really talking to the man in charge. You know, he knows that they're just another puppet, and that's just it, though. You know, most people over here believe in this puppet regime. You know, they believe what they see is real, and it's not real. You know, I mean, just look at how many people believe that it was an actual tire that popped that started the car fire over here, and look at how many people are homeless due to that car fire. You know, and those that went to the FEMA shelters, you know, aka the closed Kmart that became the FEMA relocation center. Yeah, you know, they got subsidized all these things. You could check in anytime, but you could never leave. Of course, because they're chipping people in them places. You know, ID 2020, you know, is pretty much there. They've been chipping the homeless in them shelters because, of course, you know, you promise them room and board and meals. Yeah, they're going to go for that, you know. So, you know, you're seeing a lot of things take place, you know. And Yahushua said these things would take place, you know. Which brings me to, you know, one of the passages, you know, this being the year of prophecy, brings me to this passage, Matthew 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? You know. Just to very much speak the name Yahushua, to say Yahushua is coming back now they're charging us with anti-Shemitic, you know. I ain't going to say anti-Semitic because there's no such word. You know, they made that shit up too. So, anti-Shemitic. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. You know, you got all these, I mean, just the 501c3 church, which you got a lot of bootleg Israelite camps under that charter. Yeah, ISUPK, IUIC, you know, which I haven't even said their names in a long time, but those are a couple I can name that are under the 501c3 charter. So, you know, they're going to tell you that the mark of the beast is something else, or that, you know, pretty much, you know, that you can Well, you can sodomize women. That's one of the things that they teach. Or that it doesn't matter about the name. So they're deceiving many. You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. We're hearing that all the time in the news. Rumor of war. Trump sending 4,000 troops into Iraq. That's a rumor of war. And it's actually going to be a war. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah. Yahushua hasn't made his return yet, but this is just right before he makes his return. And we're seeing that. We know that he's coming back. We're seeing the chariots everywhere. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. We're seeing that all the time, man. There's division everywhere. Allies that were once allied with the U.S. are coming against the U.S. Most people don't stand with the policies. They despise all their policies. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And you're hearing all the time about earthquakes. And you're seeing pestilences everywhere. Always come up with new diseases, And Esau wants to vaccinate you, so that way you can get more diseases. Because he wants to spread disease, because he is the disease. He's the abominable seed. All these are the beginning of sorrows. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yeah, man, we're hated of all nations, just for the name Yahushua alone. Now with all this wag the dog news, portraying us as terrorist groups, when the real terrorists are you red Hebrew Edomites, that go into Syria and into Libya to try to dismantle the government so you can have your way with them and steal their resources. And there shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Yeah, we know that there's agents within the camps that are looking to betray us, that are looking to hand us over to Esau. Like I had a couple squad cars that passed by me last week when I did camp here. I know that they're watching, Of course they are, but I'm not breaking the law, so they can't convict me on anything, No, I'm not blocking the bus, even though I'm right by a bus stop. I'm not blocking the bus. I wave the bus through, so I'm obeying the law. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That's right. There's iniquity everywhere. People are waxing worse and worse, coming up with stuff that, not all Edomites will be destroyed, or trying to say that the Edomites are Japheth, just all kinds of delusions. But he shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So, you just got to endure this, We're an enduring branch, which is the name of another brother's channel who, pretty much is a mentor over me, We're an enduring branch, because, of course, we're the ones that have kept the faith and are still going forward and preaching. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached into all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come. Well, there's camps everywhere, We definitely know about Great Millstone in Germany. And again, Apostle Tahar has also told us that not all 144,000 are in Great Millstone, but they're still scattered, but they are pretty much coming in. That's why we're starting to see prophecy take place, We are seeing great tribulation. Jump down to verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not from the beginning of time of the world to this time, no, nor shall ever be. We're going to be hitting in some really, really hard times like we've never seen. That little trial that I just went through is nothing as compared to what's coming, where you will be tested, Everyone's going to see who had the real faith, who the real Israelites were, who the real prophets were in that day. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Again, it's going to be, a lot of things are going to be happening, but it shall be a short time for our sake, which we pray we're part of that hopeful elect. That's why we always say hopeful elect, because you don't know. The Most High could have purposely woke you up just for you to be an example not to be like. You hope you're not among them. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is anointed, or there, believe it not. Again, people want to turn you on to others, that aren't teaching the truth. They're teaching false things, heresies. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. You know, those saying that the mark of the beast is Christianity, or that the mark of the beast is something else, that it's not talking about the microchip, you know, and many people are going to get it, you know. Again, we tell them, hey, if you believe that, then why don't you go get the microchip then? If you don't believe that's the mark of the beast, what's stopping you? Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if you shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. Yeah, man, a lot of people are looking for that Caesar Borgia image, you know, to come down, you know, because they believe in this bullshit called the rapture. You know, how many times you heard about the rapture? You know, they're always talking about the rapture. Jesus is coming, but we say Yahushua is coming back. Man, now all of a sudden they got a problem, but they've been saying Jesus is coming back for how long now? For as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So it's going to be a large chariot that's going to cover the east and the west, you know. A large flying roll, as Zechariah had described, shall be covering this. For whosoever the carcass is, there shall the eagles be gathered together. You know, that's of course talking about the elect that are going to be delivered out of this place. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Yeah, by way of them nuclear missiles when they destroy this place, you know. And to be not partakers in Babylon means to get away from these Babylonian things, you know, such as celebrating New Year's, which is a terrible day if you're an Israelite, you know, because that's when we be traded. It's really not much different than Black Friday. And then shall the Son of Man in heaven appear. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Again, you know, that's talking about when he shall gather his elect from the four quarters of the earth. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be dismayed, because they're going to say to him in that day that they did all these things, but he's going to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, for I never knew you. You know, most of us want to get out of here, you know, but then there's those that want to stay, you know, and you can't hang out with those that want to stay or get you to thinking, well, you know, it's not so bad, you know. So I care for that. You know, they'll say, well, it's not so bad here, you know. You know, I at least got this or that, you know, Stockholm syndrome. You know, people thinking, okay, well, that's not too bad. You know, I've been through worse. The only reason for you to ever think, well, yeah, that's not too bad, I've been through worse, is to prepare yourself for what's about to come. Because what's about to come, you're going to have to make choices. The elect of us, we're not going to make the choice to take the mark of the beast. We'll never take the mark of the beast. You know, it just might take longer to get food or water, you know, because we'll, of course, be traveling, you know, because we're not going to just stick around. That's going to be locked up, and a lot of us will be locked up, you know. Look at how fast Reading was locked down over the car fire, you know. And, of course, all the places, if you thought about running to the hills, well, they burned that all down now. They're going to see you. And, of course, they have drones to see you anyways, you know. But the whole idea of why PG&E's been cutting power to people out in the countries and all that, I mean, there's just simply put, it's because they want everybody in the metropolitan areas, because you notice that Reading Electric customers, they don't get their power cut. No, just those that are on PG&E, you know, that might live on the outskirts of town, out of the metropolitan areas, you know, the farms, places like that, you know. PG&E cuts the power off for 3 or 4 days under the guise of, you know, high strong winds, which they control, by the way, you know, via HARP, you know. So PG&E cuts the power, and, you know, you're starting to see that as a regular. It's because, of course, they want to get everybody into the metropolitan areas, because that's the best way to control them. You know, they don't like people that are out in the boondocks, so that means that they have to actually work harder to find people out in the boondocks. They want people out there, you know, being able to make a fireplace and, you know, being able to survive the cold. No, so that's why PG&E's been cutting their power, you know, under these guises, you know. And not to mention, there was a Rothschild plan to burn California. It's all in the making, you know. Writings on the wall, depopulation agenda, you know. And we're seeing that, you know. This being the year of prophecy, we're going to see a lot more of that. Yeah, you thought Jade Helm was just a practice drill. And now you're starting to see it come alive. You're seeing more false flags, which are distraction news stories, so that way they can use the bigger false flags like the ones in Iraq to deploy more troops over there, because eventually all the troops are going to be in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, all those places in the Valley of Yehoshaphat, while the UN, Army After Next, which is what Jade Helm means, comes over here, pretty much to lock everyone down, And you got, well, pretty much you can't tell the difference between the police and the military, because they're militarized police. Of course, and how do you think that they got that? They've all taken an oath to the Freemasons, to the Illuminati. So everybody knows about that, and that's why you're seeing the things that you've been seeing, and we're going to see a lot more. The best thing that we can do right now is stay diligent, come out here and teach, even when it ain't the most popular thing to do. Of course it ain't, but it's popular amongst the elect to go out and do this. Man, you show forth your faith by going out and doing the work, and you don't make excuses, even if it was snow or whatever. I've carried the sign in the snow and then gone and taught. It's what you got to do, when it's, strange weather or whatever. But, others won't do that, though. They'll find every excuse to not go and teach. You'll go looking at a page. It's like, man, you ain't done a video in a while. Well, if you see this page, it's because, of course, I was down. But you check out my second channels, which I highly recommend subscribing to, especially if I go down again. Israelite Foreigner Reading and Israelite Foreigner Reading 2 channels. Yeah, I got 2 other YouTube channels. And, of course, I have the Daily Motion channel, which is provided in the link below, And like everything else, though, going to be setting up real soon, Like I said before, we're going to be tested, I could have very easily doubted, because here it is. It seemed like that was a judgment, Here it is. I got a 60-day notice. I need to leave. Did I do enough? Have I done enough? These are the self-diagnostic things that you need to do. It's like, well, am I on fire enough? Could I be more on fire? And if you feel that you need to be more on fire, then you need to do more. Don't just procrastinate and don't do anything about it. Do something about it. A lot of brothers, who work, they find the time to get in their cars and do videos, I know another brother that has a, that drives around a lot and does videos, and he'll go for 45 minutes to a whole hour, and he has it online. I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet to be able to go live, for an hour or so, I most of the time set up in the premiere mode, and other things. But nonetheless, though, you see what's going on, though. You see that more and more you're hearing about, the Israelites being framed for things, And does it look like I'm armed? Does it look like I have anything? No, all I carry with me is a sign, and I'm holding a selfie stick to do these videos, I don't even have another brother to hold the camera up so that way I can be recorded, like a lot of the 2 or 3 man camps have, But, I never let that be an excuse to not come out and do the work. As another brother had put it, stop making excuses and go out there and teach. Especially you've been in the faith for at least 6 to 9 months, then you're ready to go out there and teach. Get to your nearest camp, talk with that leader, and then go out there and teach, But like everything else, though, you also know that there's no new members coming into Great Millstone. So that means that we're pretty close to the very end here, it's been declared last year that there would be no new members in Great Millstone, because you have to tear out the tares, the tares have to be gotten rid of, so that way we can find the wheat that's among the tares, And we know that there's agents, of course. Did we think that we weren't going to be watched? They're watching our every move. They've been tracking us from day one. That's why they want to put a tracking chip in everybody, because that's what the RFID is. That's what the mark of the beast is. So that way they know your every move. Like the song, every breath you take, every move you make, I'll be watching you. Well, yeah, because they have trackers on that. They have trackers on your phones, so they got you into the mental conditioning of accepting it, And yes, they have ways of tracking the money too. But they really want to get rid of money because, of course, You can't track every transaction, you know. Like if I made a deal with somebody down the corner, man, they want to stop that, you know, make it side deals, you know. And why would they want to do that? Well, duh, you know, say that I wanted to buy a chain like this off a brother for like 20 bucks and he's trying to make extra money. Well, they want to stop that because, you know, they want all the money, you know. And of course, they're going to have a higher price. So if I want to get it for less, I'm not going to be able to do so because there's no way to buy, sell, and trade without it. That's what they plan to. And this being the year prophecy, and we just passed the year Charagma, and we've seen the Elon Musk character come out, and we've seen more and more people lining up to get the chip. You know, a lot of people are chipped, you know, especially in them shelters. They've been chipping people in them shelters, you know. And those that refuse, well, pretty much they're killed. Who's going to say anything when you already know the majority of people hate the homeless? They don't like the homeless, so of course they're not going to say anything about it, you know. And a lot of us, well, we're going to be homeless too. I just was not so long ago. Hey, I was that close, you know, because of course I was couch surfing. Well, what if I didn't have a couch, you know? I would have been among them. I would have had to have been harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent, you know? So, you know, it's coming to the point, though, that, you know, eventually that's what it's going to succumb to. But we will not be tempted to take the mark, you know? And we can see, though, that with the fiscal year coming in and more places closing, that's going to create more homeless and more people are going to get chipped, you know? Again, you know, this is prophecy speaking. And we see, though, that he is gathering all nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat. We're seeing Gomer and all his bands doing more, you know, and having the protection of Magog. Even Libya has the S-400 systems, so they're preparing their defense systems because they know that the whore, Babylon the Great, is about to make their move. You know, they see them making moves, and now Somalia is being bombed as well, under the guise of, you know, fighting terrorism, which that's always the guise, isn't it? You know, we're fighting the terrorist groups, you know, but these countries never seem to ask America to come in. So America injects itself in there. Why is that? Because they're doing the biddings of the Rothschilds. Of course, because the Rothschilds are the ones that are behind everything. And everybody knows that. You can say the name Rothschild, people know what you're talking about too. It's not such a secret anymore that the Rothschilds, Rockefellers run everything, you know. And most people hate them, man. You know, if you rewind and see some taste, man, they are booed and they are hated wherever they go. Of course, Amalek is small among the heathen and the most hated. And they're hated amongst Esau, Edom, too. Everybody hates them gutter rats. Of course, Dan, you know, because they're sitting on top, filthy fucking rich, and they won't share. You know, he's always been that way to his brother, Amalek, you know. That's why King Saul was given the order to slaughter every one of them. You know, every last one of them. He didn't do it. Of course he took spoils. He was also told not to take spoils. And that's why we tell our people, don't take spoils from this place, man. Babylon's about to be destroyed. So don't take spoils from this place, you know. You don't want anything here anyways. This place is corrupt, you know. You're just trying to survive, you know. And that's just it. All of this is just survival. This was never our rest. So, you know, we're just trying to remain diligent. Of course, yeah, that was another squad car that passed by. So I know I'm being watched. But like everything else, though, does that stop me from doing this? Does it stop me from going out there and teaching? No, man, you got to remain diligent, you know. And like everything else, though, we're going to see a lot more happen, you know. So, you know, just try to edify each other to the best of our abilities and come out and teach, you know, even when the weather ain't so great, you know. So I hope all this has been edifying. Like everything else, though, we're going to keep on proclaiming our faith and showing our faith by coming forth and doing this, you know. And name another camp that actually comes out there diligently every week and does this. You won't find it, you know. The only ones you can say is Great Millstone. Those brought into Great Millstone, such as Men of Valor, are the ones that come out faithfully and teach every week, you know. So for all that, though, you know, this place is coming to its end, you know. And it's good to see the end of our enemy, you know. I just don't understand why anybody would actually want to stay here. You know, you can see everything shutting down. because shop is getting closed. For that, I want to say, Brakat the Yahweh, Brakat the Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, Wa Abab the Ball. Brakat them, the hopeful elect. Shalom.